Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks for stopping by the meeting. We'll just start about 6 minutes early. Because, fuck everyone else.
Fuck you, Bogo.
No, I'm actually gonna get the stream thingy ready, so make sure this works again. There we go.
Hey, Bogo, are you recording?
I am. So yeah, they know
Good boy.
how stupid you are.
Hello?
That's me.
Alright, just wanted to make sure I connect. Because I tried to connect to their Wi-Fi, but it did not go well.
Hello, people.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
How's it going?
Good. Quite fine, yeah?
Yeah?
If that is going fine, I expect everybody to do the same, okay?
Alrighty.
Hello.
Yo.
Hello.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yo, dude.
What's
up?
Buenos dias.
I have to thank hurricane or tropical storm or whatever it is now, Nate coming up, got me out of doing some cleaning on the shooting houses, so free weekend.
Well.
We have about 3 minutes before we get this show started. So, tell your friends, tell your neighbors that their ass is in here.
We've started early, haven't we?
I got thunder. Don't worry about it.
Got 3 minutes yet? Was in the middle of a battle.
No, we're ready
Bastard.
to go now.
It's 1957.
It's actually 2017. Thank you very much. I couldn't help myself.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I know. That and your tags are wrong. And Damien's tags are wrong. Everyone.
I'm so sorry, Corn.
Buck changed it in AJ. I know, it changed years ago. Yes. I still don't like it.
Don't me, I'll ya.
Is that boss guy?
No. So sorry, Kuna. The little girl.
Someone.
Yes!
Like boss guy.
It's me, little girl, so sorry.
Yay!
And that's why we can't have nice things.
Indeed.
Okay, so just know, this is being streamed. Is that boss guy?
Hello, Mom. Kuna. The little girl.
That means we have to watch her like
It's
this.
me.
I never agreed to be on stream. What is this?
Can I get a copy of the VODs in 4K, please?
Indeed.
Don't know what you just said.
4K, 60 frames a second.
4K?
I want 4K 30 frames per second, please. The human eye can't see over 30.
Can if you try hard enough. We have about 1 more minute. 1 more minute.
No, we don't. It's right now. Two.
Right, meow. And meow. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the first week of October's meeting, 2017. Thank you. We'll start this off with, I totally forgot. Sithis, where's Sithis?
Hi.
Where does the meeting start off with?
Oh shit, I'll have to look up PM. What's that?
Ban!
Well, this is
Dude,
what
I sent it to him in PM. What more do you want from me?
What was this?
Alright. Salutation. Greeting
Turn
you.
up or be fired.
So basically, just wanted to let you guys know, made a post in the officers about interviews. Interviews are required by all officers.
Oh, wait.
They must be performed. There are only a handful, literally a handful of you doing interviews throughout the year. So we need to get everyone involved in those. These also will take away from your ability to be promoted in certain instances, and also may lead to demotion. I want to make you guys aware. We're going to be holding one more feet to the fire. The leadership.
So,
oh my God.
it's threats.
You know who you are.
Yes. Yes, it's threats.
Oh, I like threats. I work with threats.
These aren't threats. These are promises, baby.
It's the same principle.
Oh, so you really don't want me to do interviews lately because I'm like half dead, half time.
Well, that's fine. We know, I mean, literally, we're looking over the numbers, and there's like 10 people doing the interviews for a year. So
the biggest thing is there's a difference between willing to help out and then actively avoiding interviews at all costs and never doing them.
And we understand.
You know who you are.
Yeah, we understand if you're working fucking 70 hours a day and all that great stuff, you know. We understand. We know who's here and who's not. We're like Santa Claus. Who's naughty and nice. All right. So just that'd be a warning. So if some of you haven't been doing interviews and haven't been getting promoted, you've got some weird message that said, hey, you know, it's a requirement that you do interviews. That's why. Also, if you were to happen to get demoted, you'll know why too. Also, the leadership is coming up with the standards and guidelines for officership, kind of like a base guideline for what requirements we have for all officers. That way, there's no confusion.
Now.
So where did we start? Oh, yes. Okay. And then, so do we have any questions about that?
I'll think of something.
Alright.
I think it's a kind of a massive stick you're wielding.
It's a requirement.
And not in a good way.
How so?
Requirement of all officers to do interviews.
You're wielding threats again.
Okay.
Think of it as a reminder.
As in...
No, it's a threat.
Well, what he's saying, Dave, is essentially that it's a expectation of all officers to do this. We're not in any way forcing people to be officers. We're just saying this is we want everyone to take their part and do their bit for the community. But if they want to be an officer, well, we're asking people to help out with interviews. We're not saying you need to go away and do every single one that you see, but you need to, you know, be pulling some of the weight, because you can't have the work of 50 people between 10. It's just asking someone to each do a small part, and we won't all have a load to do.
I want to point out to everyone what Sindane just said too. Just because you see some of us here, we're not actually here.
Agreed. We take that into account.
That? Yeah, like I'm on a good bit of the day, and I can't do interviews. I'm literally sitting at work. I can't do it. But you know what we're saying? There's 10 people, literally like 10, maybe even less. Was it 10 or less? Doing all of the interviews for a year.
There was last month. There was most of the interviews were done by 2 people. The third person wrapped up about a dozen interviews. The other 10 people were 1, 2, or 3. So it was mostly 2 people last month doing nearly all the interviews, and those 2 people did more than anyone else combined. The person who did the most did nearly as much as everyone else themselves anyway. And it's just asking for a little bit from everyone, so that it's not all on one person.
Also, being an officer means that you want to help out the community. You're going above and beyond. No one says you have to be an officer. There's no right, requirement, any of that. You're saying that you want to help FeverClan and go above and beyond. We're not forcing you to do anything. I want to get on and game just as much as everyone else. But we all have a part to play. We all opted to put our hand in and do it. And nothing says you can't go back to being enlisted and just play games. That's what it's there for. Officership is for people who want to do more and go above and beyond. And there's nothing wrong with going back. There's nothing wrong with it. Alright, so do we have any questions? Any other concerns?
I'll point this out to everyone. We want to hear the points. We don't want to, want to be able to answer them and actually hear what people are saying. That's not a case of this is exactly what's going to happen. We will tell you what to do and and this is what shall be done. The whole point of having these meetings is so we can get some feedback and talk about things.
I'd love to, but sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
I was just saying I'd love to, but I just got here.
When is this officership guideline coming out, or don't you know yet?
Thunder? Do you have any estimate on that?
At the moment, Dave, we're finalising the actual exact details of essentially how much is the basics. We don't honestly. It's getting the wording right, because we also don't want to alienate people. Yeah, exactly. It wants to be reasonable and not coming down from on high, and that's also why we wanted to talk about it today and see what is reasonable. What would you guys see as an expectation as basic things? At the moment, interviews is a basic one. We've asked everyone to do them. We do need them doing, and it's easier to go by weight, and that's why we're talking about it. It shouldn't. It's again, we need feedback before we actually do it and talk about it. To do that, we need to discuss it, and we've discussed it amongst ourselves. We've talked it through. We've said what we think should be the case. But you know what? Let's see what the community. Let's see what the people who actually end up doing most of the hard work for us. Because, the leaders go around and do loads, but at the end of the day, the mass of people, everyone else working, actually gets stuff done. So we need to know from you what is reasonable. So I think that's the first question. Is it reasonable to be asking everyone to pitch in and do the interviews?
I think so. I think what we could possibly do is do like a Google form for like a survey to see, like based on people's workloads, what is reasonable for them to do. That way we can, because there's a lot of officers and they range in how busy they are, like just all across the board. So it'd be nice to get feedback from all of them as to what they think they can do, and then go from there.
Well, we're not going to set down a number.
No.
We're not like a number. We're just saying that everyone needs to do them. I mean, if you can't do one interview over the course of a couple of months or even a year, there's something wrong. I've done 2 interviews in the past month myself.
Sure. After I trained for interviews, just to make sure I had it down, I did like the next 3 interviews or something. I didn't count exactly per se, but I made sure I did them,
Yeah, like we're just asking people to do the interview. Do what you're asked to do as an officer.
And to give some context, I have a general anxiety disorder. So unless I actually have a direct thing to talk about, I don't like talking to new people at all.
See, and we understand that. We understand not everyone's the same. We're not shoehorning you into everyone needs to be 50 interviews a week, and we're just saying you need to be doing the interviews. You know who you are.
Yeah, and I'm saying like it's a reasonable request to just do just a few interviews, just do your load, do your share, and I'm doing my part, and I have a actual I can say I have a medical reason not to do them.
And guys, feel free to PM if you really don't feel like speaking out loud, because I know it's sometimes intimidating to book the trend if you want to. So feel free to message, and we'll work from there as well, because we want to hear the opinions.
We're not asking people to do 30 million interviews. Just pitch in when you can. And with that being said, we have seen and we know of some people actively not doing any when they are clearly available. It's unfair. It's not cool simply because you're putting that workload onto your fellow officers when you could take not even 5 minutes to do an interview and get it done. It's just it's not good.
That would mean
it would be done. It'd be covered.
Yeah, I think if we even did 2 a month, that would cover all of them and then some. You know, and that's just the active officers. If you were to factor in, anyway, continuing on, we could beat the dead horse, all there is. But if you have any more to say on it, there's a thread over there. You could PM us. You could post in the thread. It's in the officers' discussion. I would like to hit a point on Thundernut. Are you ready to hit home with the platoons? I kind of give a rundown of the. Thank you.
Those are fun.
So the other thing we've put into place, as many of you may have seen, is the new company admin positions. Which, if any of you have been around the companies recently, you'll notice that each company's had a roster for quite a while. We've been having people coming in, doing the company admin position, linked into when we back did required jobs. Problem was that we weren't getting the people coming in saying, look, I'll take on the admin job to ease up on the company commander. And so it got to the point where everything was going on to a company commander to do everything essentially. So while we got rid of platoons, we put a structure back in place that's somewhat similar, but absolutely stripped down exactly what needs doing. So what we've got is everyone from the rank of captain down is being given a position as a company administrator, a company admin. Each of the gaming companies has at least one roster that needs to be maintained, and then I've tried to, once it gets to the point, double up people so it eases the workload as well. We've also got people doing MISC, removals, etc. But all the bits that need doing into what actually happens to maintain an active roster of who's playing what. Now, at the moment, we're just working with main game. Now, I'd much prefer to then take that on one step further and start doing alternate games, so each company and each person playing actually gets a good idea of who to play their game with. So I can go to CSGO, for instance, and look down the full list of every single Fever member who plays that game, and then contact them. And this is the whole point of what we're doing, is putting these rosters so people can contact them. In terms of the actual work that's required, Doc did it earlier today, and we timed it to about 5 minutes in terms of for each new member. And that's about once a week. So what you get to do, you go on from the new members sheet that's filled in from each interview, which is why those must be filled in, because otherwise we don't get new people into companies. That then gets copy-pasted into the roster sheet. That gets pasted into a form on the forums, which then generates a roster. That then gets posted, updated in a thread, job's done. That company admin then takes that new person, pastes their name into a mail. A company commander has already done a welcome message for you, which you then send to them and saying, welcome to the game, here's the information that you need. That's the job. Anyone who was a playing admin or doesn't currently have a officer job will be asked to do these as well. So it counts as your basic role requirement as being an officer, because we're also saying as that secondary point, okay, every single officer also needs to be doing something as well, and the smallest part we can literally find for them to do to say, okay, maintain your officer status by doing this once a week. If you have another job past captain, so major up all the way up, then we'll assume that you've got something else that takes up your time.
How are you?
All this process
Can
is
I have a
documented.
6-inch BMT on white?
No.
Thank you.
We don't want your order.
I got him. That's a highlight. Someone note that. He wants a 6-inch.
I love the fact this is being recorded as well. This is all documented in the officer thread under. I'll link it in the chat if someone could for me. It's under officers. In officer details, there's a thread that both gives people their assignments, then gives people a guide on how to do it, then actually links below every single roster and every single welcome message, so it's all in one place. Have a look through it, even if you're not a captain and you want to have a look through this to see how long it would take, and please feed back to me, because if there's something you think to yourself, yeah, you've just made a extra, that's going to take a lot longer than you expect, please tell me. I want to refine this process. Ideally, I want this to be 5 minutes each week. If we can get that, job done. I don't want this to be all platoon work that would take hours and or take even 10, 15 minutes at the end of the day, the old platoon work, but still, I want to trim it down as much as we can. And it just helps us find those players and make sure that within Fever, we can connect to each other. Every single officer, every single general, every single leader is also part of a roster. You all got the message from me as well. So we're included. We're not extra and above Fever. We're part of it. That should be the point.
It gives people a direct path on the game and someone to look up to. Better organization and getting people more mingled in with the officers.
Exactly. Everyone's there. They can see you as part of it. They know who to contact if they need something. And if need be, if it's not your main game, you'll also know we'll try and get it for your main game. You know, if you're a LoL player, you should be doing the LoL one. If you're a CS player, the CS one. I'm trying to connect it as much as I can. I think there's 2 people so far who are out of their main game, and I will work my best to get those people into their main game when I can.
Alrighty, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the platoons in Thunderdome?
Yeah, so all of the people in the platoons, it's all based off of main game right now? Is that what you're saying?
All based off main game. Eventually, what I want to do is I want to have 2 lists, essentially. One person managing each list, one for main game, one for alt game. And if you remember, if you've actually filled in that player database form, it gives you the option for both.
Sure.
It literally, mate, it requires people to do it. And at the moment, let's do the basics first, and then we can roll with it a bit more advanced.
At least in the meantime, before we have that alternate list, is it okay if we still maintain a mention list that maybe keep that sticky, hey, if you want to be on our mention list so we can notify you when certain events are going on, I can still keep something like that going, just so, I mean, a lot of our Overwatch players aren't playing at main game, so it would actually, if that were the case, I could actually see it negatively impacting the section. So
it will take,
like that going.
Honestly, it won't take me long. I can actually form an alternate roster tomorrow if need be. I'm just not requiring it to be admin at the moment. That's for people, and it's.
The more you want to do above and beyond, that's all good. These are the base requirements, and the more you want to do yourself is all gravy. And we also take suggestions and roll with them.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, Grizzly. I'm oh shit, my mic's not out. There we go. I'm pretty sure that between you and I, we could also just maintain a second roster before it's organized as well, because I feel like we've got the manpower to do it, kind of, because we got me, you, and Chronubis. So
it'll take me 5 minutes tomorrow to do each one. Well, maybe not 5, maybe about 20 minutes if I do everyone. But for me, that's something I was going to do anyway. So I'll create an alt roster for everyone, and I'll put it in there, and the company commanders and the game officers can make their own choices from that point. Yeah, we'll get there as well.
See, there we go. And when we come together, as you can see, things just fluidly we can add and grow and make things happen. That's what we need. Is more participation from everyone, basically. We all take one more job or role or active role, and everything's running like clockwork. It's a no-brainer. We all just do a little bit more. And some of you already are doing, like, everything. Alright, so, do we have any other questions, concerns, suggestions for the platoons or Thundernut or... Alrighty, so, and moving on to, fuck, what else did we do? Need the goddamn lists. We need like a change log. Yeah, okay, anyway, scroll back up here. Plans for the future. Wait a minute. So we went over the platoons. Have we added anything else? Anything new in the past month?
You make a good point. I forgot that one.
I think MOTF, that merge actually happened this month.
Oh yes, the completion of the MOTF content creator merge. Basically, they're just combining forces over overlapping departments. Daddy, do you have anything you want to say, or do you? Slanessa here. Oh, okay, Daddy.
What do you want me to talk about?
Huh? What?
What should I say?
I don't know. Do you have anything to say about the MOTF and the content creator becoming one department?
Yeah, it's going good so far. Directors are getting to know each other. We get friends, close friends, best friends.
So you don't need any more people? You don't need to say anything to the...
Yeah, of course. MOTF, it's always open. We basically, as officers, already do MOTF work. But if you guys are very active on the forums, you might as well get some extra credit for it if you want. Just shoot me a message. The requirements would be that you just moderate the forums. Even content creating now, maybe if you don't like actually keeping an eye out for moving stuff, deleting stuff, maybe you want to stick with content creation, that's fine. That's part of MOTF now. And yeah, anything we can do to help the gaming side.
Moral of the story is he needs more people. Alright.
And then we've got one more, which is coming soon, which is the award system, which I was hoping Miss Jo could be here to take it through, but the company commanders have been working recently on a new award system, a bit more beefed out, essentially. So we're going up to around about 20 awards per game, if we can manage it. 9 of those being specific role ones, like the ones you have at the moment, and then we're having a load more generic awards, so things like attend a game night, host a game night, those type of things. So they'll be coming out as soon as we're finished with them, really. Most of the company commanders are finishing up those lists now. And hopefully you'll see a bit more of an improved system there. So just to get that bit more interest. And if you'd want to help out with that feedback as well, let us know. But it is in the development as opposed to actually ready to go.
And the other thing I noticed too is, as I'm looking over all the people here, I don't think I see a single VO. You know, some of these people are VO that actually can participate. So I guess we should let them know that. I know some of them are here, some of them are VO. We're also looking at more guidelines for people who are VO, possibly things like time and rank requirement, an overall timeline, how long people can stay VO, because it's a system that works pretty well. However, it gets abused. We just kind of want to cut down on some of the abuse. You guys probably know who or kind of what or whom's we're talking about. So if you guys have any input or anything, any comments you want to say about that, we'll take PMs or want to say something now. Mentions, any ideas about what we should do with the VO? Keep it the same, change nothing, change it all.
Are there any current guidelines, or is it something you just want to
Basically,
create?
right now, we allowed anyone to go VO who hit the rank of major and above and needed like a hardship, time to get their life together or whatever needed to be done. He used to work flawlessly. Kidding, haha. He used to work pretty good. It still does. It just kind of want to cut down on some of the abuse and people who take advantage of the system that's currently in place.
There's no current maximum time.
No,
Is that something that you're looking at? You're looking into?
Yes.
Gotcha.
There's actually I have a message drafted up for some of the people who have been VO for a good while, just to see where they stand on it. Because I actually am getting to the point where I'm gonna remove some of the people who are VO. But yeah, we'll. I don't know. I just want a better standard to treat the VOs and what we all think is fair.
Do they currently follow the rules with regards to activity in Fever in general, like posting? Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, there
That's
is
what.
no other like requirement. It's kind of like being VO, VM. There's no real like Luke doesn't go over the activity anymore. Actually, Luke does give me a list every couple of months of people who he thinks should be removed. We do remove some people from enlisted and VM. He also provides a list occasionally of VOs that need to be removed. We haven't really been doing much with them because a lot of them actually do come back, even if it is a year or two, no difference at a time. But kind of want to, like I said, cut down on the abuse of the system.
Okay, thanks. Just curious.
Yeah, and like I said, the system works pretty good. There are a lot of people who need it. I just want to cut out on the views and groups and people that, like I said, abuse it.
Oh. But it sounds like we don't necessarily need like a hard cut rule adjustment. No. Just maybe a better monitoring and managing of it.
Exactly. Like guidelines.
Yeah, guidelines.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So if anyone has any suggestions or want to put any feedback on, we'll actually make a post too. If you guys think we should.
Well, one idea I have here is maybe have it required to, like, approved for like a given period of time. Maybe 3 months or something, and then it has to be like renewed. So you can't just passively stay a VO.
You have to have special cases with stuff like that, though, because it could be a hardship of no internet access, so they can't.
Well, yeah, but they can give us. It might need to be done on a case-to-case basis. I'm talking about the general guideline here. Is just have them check with us, like, you still need some time. Can you contribute now? What's going on? Give us an update. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I like that because I was actually thinking about doing like every 6 months or so, like a message of, hey, how's it going? Kind of like a little prod. But yeah, I think we need to get that down. Maybe make a post in the off and see what we can stamp down. All right. So, do we have any other questions or suggestions about that? Alrighty. So, do we have anything new planned? Anything else in the works that we're maybe going to do for the next month? In the future plans. That had already said that they're working on a more solid game system or award system. Do we have any?
You had a question about that award system that I missed earlier.
Yeah.
How many of those are you going to have that are like they have to provide screenshot proof, and how many are going to be automated?
We're doing it more of on a. Last thing we discussed was having it more on a trust basis. Saying, okay, you've done it. Show someone. I mean, it's a lot easier now to put a screenshot into Discord or something along those lines. We went down the path of saying, look, if we can't trust people to be at least honest enough, if they from getting the award, then what are we doing? Try and cut back on the admin a little bit, because at the moment the award system's nice, but I mean, I knew when I went for my awards, it was so much effort just to get a couple of them to copy it, paste it.
We're not running a fucking airline here.
No.
make it nice and simple. There will be abuse of that system as well. There's going to be abuse in almost anything, but we need to have
Yeah,
and if we constantly find like this person or that person continually attempts to abuse or
yeah, but mate, who really needs to abuse the system to say, "Oh, I've got this award. Oh, I've got that award"? It seems kind of pathetic.
Well, yeah, I think that's what we're saying, Dave. Is that at the end of the day, all right, well done. You've managed to get,
An award you're not entitled to. Big deal.
Yeah. Great, you get some kudos. For me, I like to get an award to feel that I've done something, not just and people
abuse the system. It's just we built the system to reward people, and you don't want to make it harder for everyone else, for those few that took it away, or can't follow the rules correctly.
To kind of play devil's advocate, though, I mean, do you think it's going to take away at all from like people wanting to achieve form awards too? Because I mean, there's a handful of awards for those out there, but they're going to get but they might be overshadowed when there's all these easier ones for this game that they can kind of, just throw out there.
That is a good point.
We don't want to discourage people from using the forums.
Exactly. That is a good point. I do want to make more awards for games, but I guess it makes sense. We need to look over how many total admin/forum awards we have, and then look at possibly bolstering or making it. I like making things flash. Make it flashier.
Sure.
Or more pinker. Or hang on, my fucking headphones died. 1 second.
But as with everything, I'll put a suggestion thread in officers' feedback, and let's do it. Essentially, we're trying to go with an idea of, okay, if we're going to do something, let's do it damn well right first time, rather than having to adapt it halfway through. So each process, I'll just take generally in terms of how each process is going at the minute, from leadership point of view and going down, is that everything we do, it may seem like it takes us ages, but it's because we're trying to fine tune it first between each one. Make sure we've cut off all the kinks. Then we're trying to come to you guys and say, generally I try and go to a group of people and go, okay, what do you think of this idea? Where have I fucked up, basically? And move it out like that. So we'll do the same with this. I'll post the idea in officers so you guys can have a look and feedback to us and see if we can improve it. If it's right when we roll it out, all the better.
And the more people that we can have input in it, the better. However, you can't have too many people give input, otherwise you're going to go 50 different directions on an idea. So that's why sometimes the ideas don't seem to directly touch you particularly. That's because you can't have 30,000 people beta test something and go all different directions with a similar concept. You have to use small little focus groups and grow from there. So that's also when it's pitched to you guys and the officers or here or there, make sure you put input in it, because this is your time. Sorry, go ahead.
Something we could possibly do, like you said with focus groups, you could do it on a month-to-month basis. You'd be like, hey, if you guys are interested in joining the this month's focus group, please contact me. And then they're proactively reaching out that they want to help, discuss and make sure everything is running efficiently.
We actually have something very similar. It's Cybernet Crash's group called Imagineering. That's their whole aim. His problem at the moment, and I'll do a shout out for Cyber now. He'll owe me one for this one. If anyone's interested in working for Imagineering, he has got a direct post open. He does need people to help out. And the Imagineering's main aim is to push forward projects in Fever. Take an idea, work it through, then take it to the next step. At the moment, we haven't got so much of that driving force because it just hasn't got the manpower. But if anyone's interested, Imagineering, Cyber would absolutely love to have the help. And please remember, he is the coined admin as well. No bribes.
Shit.
Alrighty. So, do we have any other questions, concerns about that?
Nope.
So make sure you're giving feedback, especially when it's posted to, even if you don't want to give it here. I like to verbally give feedback, especially because, you know, you can kind of talk it out, make sure there's no miscommunications. You run across that from time to time. Either misread, misunderstand. Everyone does. So we all need to be on the same page. It's also important to come to the meetings. Luckily, the meetings are now taped. Hopefully this one and it'll go nice and smoothly. Then everyone can be on the same page. We can all get a little bit more involved. But that's the whole theme of the meeting here today. Just getting everyone a little bit more involved. All right. So do we have anything else we're making for the future? Bringing up for the future. All right. Well, everyone, I don't know if you saw, Bobo made the post, I think earlier this week, about the change in thread. Make sure you've read that, understand it. If you have any questions, please post it. We're asking.
Which post is this? You're talking about the one for the job changes? Yeah, I've read that.
Good deal. Does anyone need a link to it? Someone can link it in the officer chat so you guys know where it is.
It's under new posts right now.
There you go. Even better. Yo-Yo Ninja's here. Look at there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Say something about the VOs and one of them came out. Do we have any other questions, concerns? Anyone want to add anything, contribute, say anything?
For that post and officers too.
No questions, concerns, anything? Don't bottle them up. Don't let them stay. Let them be free. No? No one? No one?
I personally would like to talk about a pay increase. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you what, I will raise your salary to exactly the same as mine.
All right, excellent. I love it.
You could talk to Cybernet about that. He'll give you 2,000 coins.
I need more coin. I already have 100,000.
Instead of 1 participation point, I demand 2.
Ooh, yes.
There's a complaint form you can fill out.
I need gold stickers. Well, hey, thank you guys. I don't know how many officers are here. I'm too lazy to count them. But thank you all for joining and coming out and seeing us and somewhat putting your input in. Some of you did. Thank you. Yep. And, yeah. Awesome. So watch out for the team. We're all doing interviews. I don't think I have anything else to say. 26 officers. Thank you, Damien, for answering that.
Counting's easy.
Giggity. It's the baby afterwards that gets you.
Oh, unless so more of a nerd. Yeah, numbers nerd. Never mind.
Nerdy numbers.
Yeah, math.
Awesome. So
Wait, can I say something? Can I say something?
I don't know. Is it gonna be stupid?
You just did.
Can I say something more?
Okay.
Well said.
Okay, so basically, I want you all to do me a massive favor.
The last time I did a favor, it didn't work out too well.
The Fever newsletter?
Sounds like homework.
Say dinner and drinks first, man. Come on.
We are not making weekly
Hey, I'm no longer doing the Fever Weekly, luckily. Like, I'm not going to force that upon you anymore. But I want you all to do me a massive favor and help host events throughout the month of October. As you probably have seen, me and Bomb have been planning this massive event for the entirety of October, where we've been doing tons of giveaways throughout the entirety of the month. There's a link in Officer Chat for the full description, but it's basically a recruitment and event month, where depending on how many recruits we get, more giveaways will happen, and you get a better chance of winning shit if you host event, participate in an event, so on. For the full description, read the thread. I'm tired.
Oh yeah, and then the other thing too is if you have anything you want put up on the Twitter page, just message me. about it, like especially events and game nights and stuff. I like to post this on the Twitter page, get more people involved, the word more out there, that sort of thing. All right.
Oh yeah, I also want to do a shout out to my best Twitter team member, Bogo.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes if you want things done, you have to do it yourself, right? Alright, so I'm about to wrap the stream up. Does anyone have anything else to say? Make sure the people who weren't here got to hear your bitching, complaining gripes, brilliant ideas, you know, etc., etc., etc.
Rip Phoenix, the Eternal VO.
As I said, he's not the longest VO. We'll find. I'll try and put a the link up to the 3 top VOs. Their days inactive are in a reasonably high number.
Well, see, with Phoenix asked me if he can have a job every couple of months, and I say no. So it's not entirely his fault. It's just I don't want him to do anything. I'm good. We don't. Sorry, Phoenix, we don't need your help. No, it's just.
Hold on, you keep sending him my way.
Okay.
Hey, we'll take him on recruiting team.
Hey, alright, so what's gonna happen?
I'm pretty sure literally anywhere would be happy to have people.
Okay.
No. You keep sending me Phoenix my way. That's the problem, not the fact that I need Phoenix. That sounds really harsh. I'll give Phoenix a job if he comes next time.
I need Phoenix too.
Okay.
I tell him.
Alright, I'll send them both. I'll send them your way, because I'm gonna laugh too, because you're gonna put him in a job, and then like 2 weeks to 2 months.
Maybe
later,
a month.
He won't be there. You'll be like, where the fuck did Phoenix go? Yeah.
I know no other VO like that, so that's fine.
It's a temporary position, so it's all good.
Well, I need my toilet cleaned. Alright, anything else? Anything at all? These people are gonna be like, holy shit, a 50-minute fucking meeting? No, it's just me asking the same question over and over again. And why I want you to ask fucking questions and ask.
Okay, hey Bogo. Can you take it all from the top?
Okay, yes.
Watch the stream.
We teabagged Kimino, and then you all got rank ups. In the story. So
I didn't.
I like this story.
I like it as well, dude.
Pogo, I didn't get a rank up.
Well, that sucks.
I want to speak to a manager.
You're gonna be a VO++.
Right. If we are done then, mate, I will steal the company commanders, etc. We've got our meeting. I'm fitting them in right after. That sounds wrong.
Alright. Well, signing off. You guys can see the stream. I'll post it up in the officers chat. And have a good one. Thank you for coming. Giggity giggity. All on Kimino's face.